Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Saturday Stakes edition of Today at the Races here at the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park. I'm Dan Illman along with Keith Fustel. Keith, two nice stakes races for Maryland bred or sired performers, and they mostly stayed intact. Only one scratch in both of the stakes. Intrepid Dream out of the Conniver.
I think both really good betting races, kind of wide open. Speediness, will take a lot of play. I'm going to try to beat him, but the Conniver might shape up as the best betting race on today's card. You talk about Intrepid Dream being out of there, going 7/8 of a mile. The older 3-year-olds on the fillies and mares, I should say 4 and up. But I tell you, interesting race, the Conniver. And looking at today's card, I don't have any slam dunk selections. We did okay yesterday. Hopefully you played along, but I struggled a little bit with this card this afternoon. Maybe you see it a little bit clearer than me, but we're going to trudge on, though. We're going to try to get through it.
Yeah, a lot of different changes in distance in our stakes race is something to consider, especially in the Not for Love, and we'll get to that in a bit. Before we get started, however, I just want to remind everybody, Preakness Stakes tickets are available right now at Preakness.com. It's the 150th edition of the historic Preakness on May the 17th. The final Preakness Stakes at the old Pimlico. We'll run it at Laurel in 2026, and then a brand spanking new Pimlico will host the Preakness 152 in 2027. Speaking of Preakness, Laurel Park has Preakness Preview Day on Saturday, April the 19th, and we have a handicapping challenge, a handicapping contest online and on site, a $500 buy-in, $250 bankroll, $250 to the prize pool, not only cash prizes, but also NHC seats, BCBC seats, and 2 tickets to Preakness 150. All the information at laurelpark.com. Let's take a look at the weather conditions today. Like what I'm seeing outside. The main track is fast, the temperature's 45, and it's going to go up.
Yeah, I thought the track played pretty honest yesterday. Horses coming up the rail, wide rallies as well. Speed did okay here and there. But, yeah, all in all, a very good day out in front of us. A little bit of breeze to contend with. But other than that, hey, enjoy. Please come out and join us live. It's warm enough to get out on that apron.
Absolutely. After what we've been dealing with this winter, it's absolutely warm enough to get out there, and I expect to see all of you out there in the apron. Let's start things up with race number 1. We're going a 1-turn mile, and now winner's a 3-life claimer, 12-5 down to 10. This is an interesting race where we scratch the 5. 28-2-3. Midnight Renegade taking a lot of early money, currently at even money. This is the first leg of the early pick 5. It is the value pick 5, a low 12% takeout, 50-cent minimum wager. Keith, you've got a ticket. You swept the pick 5, the late pick 5, with your top picks yesterday.
I should have put a ticket in for that, but that's the way it goes. Yeah, we saw the ball okay. No real grandiose prices, but if you did play along, you did okay.
Well, for 50 cents, it paid 203, right?
Yeah, we'll take it. Nothing to sneeze at. This 12% low takeout, early value pick 5. We're going to start you off with 3. 2, 6, and 9, Midnight Renegade, Muscari, and Whiskey in the Jar with some equipment changes there. Here's the single in race number 2, the 4, Be a Skybeam. Can we get Elliott Sullivan on the board? I would say it's now or never for Be a Skybeam at the mile and a 16. 3 deep in race 3 with the 2, 3, and 4. This is an evenly matched field, really close. I think Anita Beer would be a little bit of a shot, Granuel as well. But those inside 5, they're tough to split for me. I go 5, 6 in race number 4. Ness in Ness, looking for one of those 2 to grind it out through the stretch. Finish it up, race 5. We wrap it up with the 3, 6, and 7. Unfortunately, a few scratches in there. Take out the 1, the 4, and the 5. 4 horses, yeah, I could just easily say the all button in there, but I lean Shakira Fire in the 5th. But we're gonna take 3 shots there with the 3, 6, and 7 for a $27 ticket.
Well, we'll talk about your top horse in race number 1. That's the number 9, Whiskey in the Jar, who's going to swap out the blinkers for cheek pieces. That angle worked for trainer Rudy Sanchez Salomon last week. Joanne Schenkel will give it a try here.
I think it's gonna definitely work out. This horse last time out, February the 15th, we got quite a few horses on today's card coming off of that day of racing. That track changed throughout the day. We still have it down a little bit of a speed lane, kind of a racetrack. I think Whiskey Najaro was entered for 25 yesterday. Scratch to go here. A little easier spot. Does not like the off track. We're back to a fast track. And you got a little bit of flow in here that's going to be provided, I believe, by Tough Workout. Coming in here with the blinkers on, some sprinter speed to set things up in last second, Louis. But I think Whiskey Najaro is going to have the right kind of run from just off the pace. A pretty good effort, 2 races back. Beat 9, but a better group gets the setup today to grind it out.
Yeah, face 2 next down winners in that Hagrid's Flame race. You're absolutely right. I don't think this horse likes a wet track at all. Now a big class drop and getting back on fast going. He's very logical, currently trading at 5-2-1. We'll talk about the 6 Motscari because we have a video spotlight for the 6 Motscari. Let's take a look.
Also on the 15th of February, started out as a fast track, ended up as a sloppy seal going later in the day. But Motscari was kind of put onto a chase. 4 wide, 3 wide, Dan, and I think caught in between. Has every right to kind of fade away. This horse kept on well.
Kept on very well. Again, we said this track was speed friendly. He gets wired, and he's trying very hard. He's been on a chase now from the 3/8 pole all the way down to mid-stretch, and he's showing no quit. Now, maybe the track just helped this horse on the lead beat him, but again, this was a really solid performance for Motscari, a horse that does have the tactical speed to work out a good trip in this race.
Yeah, you're looking at the internals comparatively. They changed. This track changed throughout the day. That was a little slower go earlier, a little heavier. When that rain hit and that track kind of got a little bit more moisture in it, ended up sloppy. It quickened a little bit throughout the day, but I thought all in all, Motscari has some decent efforts over this racetrack. At the mile, turning back, can get position, save some ground. I think this horse has a charge in it today. I'm looking for Motscari, Whiskey Najaro to make that close into the flow. I think a horse like Last Second Louis is a horse that might, get the jump. The road might go through him. But I'm going to fade late with that runner. You do not use him at all. I think I might, if the prices hold okay here on my keys, I might go ahead and throw him in an exacta box.
Well, he's certainly in good form. I mean, he was 1 for 29 going into his last race. He found the spot. He got it done. We'll see if he can make it 2 in a row. Sometimes these horses win and the confidence goes up. I went with Midnight Renegade. 6-5 is a little bit light for me. We'll see what he goes off at post time. He was scratched sick on February the 28th, but another horse that was wired last time out over a speed-friendly wet track. He was kind of 3 wide, 4 path while in between horses. He's another horse like Whiskey in the Jar that would benefit if the pace is hot. I've always liked this horse. Kieran McGee had 2 winners yesterday. Maybe he can keep the ball rolling with Midnight Renegade in the opener. Keith's going 9-6-2-1. I'm going 2-6-9-4. We'll move on to race number 2. Race number 2 is at 1 mile and a 16th, and this is a maiden claiming event with a $22,000 purse. We've got a field of 6 in here. The maiden claiming price $12,500 down to 10, with Maryland breds eligible for 15. Be a Skybeam, the 4 is 4-5 on the morning line. He's your single in the early pick 5. But before we start, we'll talk about the early pick 4. We've got 3 pick 4 wagers today, early, middle, and late, with a 50-cent minimum wager.
Yeah, I'm looking at this race in race 2 at 1 mile and 16th. Be a Skybeam, you got it right on there, 4-5. Going to be an awfully short price. It's come back, a couple good races off the layoff. Second to kind of clear winners. I feel bad for your son, just ran him off the screen last time out. Gets a fast track. You're looking at the field. There's really no speed. I know this horse doesn't have a ton of speed in itself, but seems quicker and should be able to get to the front, cut the corner into the first turn, and I just keep going, I would say, with J-Rod.
From a speed figure standpoint, you just have to think this horse is way the horse to beat. This is the spot, is going to get to the lead. Maybe the mile and a 16th is a little bit of a question, but if he gets a breather on the backstretch, he's going to be very tough to down. We do have a trainer stat, however, on the number 5, Blind Eye. This is Diane Marisi, second off 2 to 4 month layoffs on dirt. 3 for the last 11 with a bigger ROI, $4.07. Now, Blind Eye has had 21 chances already without winning, but ran into a runaway winner last time out, kind of saved ground over that sloppy track. This barn, again, has done well second off the layoff, so maybe we'll see some improvement.
And this is a horse, his best figure came on that fast track when it was tried the main track effort, so that's going to help. If he decides to kind of go ahead, Weston, and make that early move into Be a Skybeam, I think the horse that it sets up for is the 2, Longer Stride. Yes, in for maiden 5's beaten at Charlestown, but has the ability, I just think, to kind of save ground and keep grinding a little bit and may get up if things get contested up front early.
Do you think they're going to try to get aggressive with this horse early, realizing there's not a ton of speed? It's not like Be a Skybeam is some blazer out of the gate. Longest Stride does outpost him from post 2 with the short run to the first turn. Do they try to go? He kind of got bumped at the start last time out at Charlestown. Finished up pretty well for second in between after being late to change leads. He's a horse that's had plenty of chances, but I don't think he's going to be coming from too far out of it.
I think he'd be best served just go get a little bit of a position and just sit there and hope that Blind Eye goes ahead and goes on the attack and just sit there and be patient. I think that they may come back to him, maybe not enough, but I do think this horse can bring a little bit of a finish.
Are we giving short shrift to the number 6, Trip Switch? We don't have this horse anywhere, and he is certainly bred to go 2 turns being by Curl, and he was completely overmatched in his career debut, facing 2 next-out winners. With the winner of the race, Jazeel, he came back and earned a 77 buyer, winning a state-sired allowance, so a big class drop here, and getting out to a distance he might like. He's not facing the greatest field in the world.
No, not whatsoever, but you look at a $7,500 Curl, and that gives me a little bit of a pause. Muddy sealed surface, should have taken to it a little bit of it because the Curlin's hard spun on the bottom, should have liked the off going.
Keith's going 4-2-5-3. I'm going 4-2-5-3, which means 4-2-5-3 has no chance in race number 2. We move on to race number 3. This is a maiden special weight. $47,000 is the purse. We're going 3/4 of a mile. The morning line favorite is the number 1. I Think I Love You. 825 for Jamie Rodriguez. Keith, we have a video spotlight on our top pick in here. That's the number 4, Spirit and Truth. This horse is coming off a lengthy layoff. This is the debut way back in May.
Has not been seen since early May at Laurel Park. Got pretty good position, tucked up inside to a couple rivals, leaving the 3/8 and works a seam, works outward there at the quarter pole. Kilo Road on a track that we have a little bit of a speed lean on the go-go back here in May. I think kept on quite willingly. Kilo Road came back to dead heat in an allowance race. This is willing enough, well clear of the rest. Looking at the field as it sets up, maybe not the strongest when you look at how these horses have performed here after this race. But I think Spirit of Truth, Torrealba, interesting that Weston Hamilton had his choice in here and goes to Chardin, but I have a little faith here off the break. This one's ready. This horse, when I do my little carryouts and use the variance a little quicker at the 3/4 distance, going to have to hold form, though, off of this long break.
This horse took money in the career
Yes,
debut. That's always a good sign. And everyone just saw that's a tough trip for a first-time star. He kind of broke in a little, but then he's in a tight pocket. He had to get to the outside. You're right. It was a speed track, and he faced a very sharp gate-to-wire horse. You mentioned Kilo Road. He came back to win with a 61 buyer speed figure. We do have a trainer stat in here on the number 2, Ringer Card. Lupe Prasado is one of the most dependable trainers on the Mid-Atlantic circuit. Here's what he's done in Maryland. 10 for the last 34, 29%, a 226 ROI, and this horse showed big speed in a race that produced 3 next-out winners in his final start last year.
Yeah, and a horse we're familiar with, 4th-place finisher in that race, Lady Sriracha, has come back to win 2 straight. Out of that race, looking at the internals at 22-3 was sharp enough for me. A little shorter run-up as well when you compare maybe I Think I Love You's race with that 60-foot run-up. I think at the 6.5 it's about 40. So got going quickly. I Think I Love You was able to get away with that 23-4 softer quarter. That's why that one might have held up well. But second off a break is a good angle for this farm. But this is an interest. I think Ringer Card can get thrust into it and stay the trip with Alicio Ruiz. And looking at the stats, jockey trainer, they've got a 602 ROI. The jock, I think he had a winner or 2 here recently. 26% is Alicio Ruiz the last 30 days with an ROI of 304. A lot to like about Ringer Card.
Turning back to 6, another thing to like, and he should be right in the thick of things when the field turns for home. The number 3 is Chardin. You're right, Weston Hamilton did have his choice on our top pick, the 4 and the 3 Chardin. He sticks with Chardin, going out for Lacey Gaudette, second off the layoff. This horse wore a hood. Lacey will put them on. And this horse ran quite well, I thought, in the first start on dirt. He was stalking a quick pace, kind of eased out in the stretch. I like the way this horse finished up with a really promising gallop out, and had every right to need the race, the first start since August.
Might get the same kind of flow in here with Grindwell going into it. The 1, I Think I Love You, and Ringer Card. I think should benefit with that race. Tightens her up a little bit. I think might just sustain and get by here today. Tough to split these first three for me.
And it was tough, and that was a pretty decent group that she was in last time out, with the runner-up coming back, placing in a $40,000 maid claimer at Aqueduct, earned a 57 buyer. Got to talk about I Think I Love You. Cal Lynch, Jamie Rodriguez, very high percentage connections. Looks like the speed nearest the rail.
Yeah, 23 and 4. I mean, okay. I didn't really go down and break them down that particular race day, but a little soft in my opinion. She might have to work a little bit harder. She got that little breather early. The challenges came very game to the wire, only beaten 3/4 of a length when it's all said and done. Another one going second off the break could move up a little bit. I think the race is going to go through. Ringer card, I Think I Love You, and then we'll see if Spirit of Truth can move into it.
Keith's going 4-2-3-1. I'm going 4-3-2-1 in race number 3, and we'll move on to race number 4. Race number 4 is a starter optional claiming race. The starter allowance level is $20,000. The optional claiming price $30 down to $24. Rider switch on the 4, Coquito. Victor Carrasco takes them out. We have a field of 6 in this race, and that's good because it's the first leg of the Chesapeake Pick 6, which is a 20-cent wager. And as you see, we've got a 5-figure carryover, 10,867. That means Brooksy didn't hit it yesterday.
No.
I know he's all in again today.
He'll be back, and he's working towards that level. I think we've got a free hot dog in the offing. It's going to be probably coming next week, Brooksy, so hold on tight. Yeah, 11,000 basically. Let's call it 11K to get you started with this carryover for the Chesapeake Pick 6. Again, 20% takeout, 20-cent wager. Also, race 4 is the middle Pick 4.
Middle Pick 4, 50-cent minimum wager, and we start out with a pretty competitive group. It's only a 6-horse field, but I think you could make a case for several horses, as you see with our top selections. We're going to start things off with the number 4, Coquito, my top selection. Again, Victor Carrasco on. We do have a trainer stat for Rudy Rodriguez. Last out winners, recently good numbers. 3 for the last 11, 27%, 275 ROI. You're going to throw some cold water on me.
I got a little bit of, I'm going to douse you with a little bit here. I've got him 1 for like 24 the past 2 years on the Laurel dirt. Only 5 times in the money. It shocks me when I looked at that and brought that stat up. But, man, you're talking about a horse that could really trip out in here, Coquito. I like this. Woohoo Jackie Blue just to the outside and Social Lady. They don't have close to her speed. And you got a horse like Popover Girl and Ginger Girl going, I would think. I mean, she should set a great trip, prompting the pace and proven at the 1-turn mile. I don't have her in. I'm going to use her underneath. I think I'm going to end up having the Key Social Lady because I think we're going to hold a little value there with the 6th, the Nest Runner. I like this Reclaim. I like how she was able to kind of reel in not a loose leader, but the pace setter in that race at Parks. Proven back numbers for this barn. I'm hoping things get a little contested, say mid-turn to upper stretch, and she can gradually move into it. But let's look at Woohoo Jackie Blue as well. Similar running styles for both of these Nest Runners. She comes off a good second just behind She's a Rolling Stone in mid-December at Laurel Park.
This was a nice effort for Woohoo Jackie Blue. We see she's kind of down inside in mid-pack. She's going to get a split right now, and now Jamie's going to get to work on her and ask her for a little bit of run, but she's in behind horses. Where is Jamie going to go here? He's going to alter course back down to the inside right here, and he is going to find a hole in between horses, but at this point he is still over in behind.
Yeah.
Now he gets the seam. He still has some time, and Woohoo Jackie Blue almost makes the most of it. This is a really strong run, the final 16th of a mile.
She's a Rolling Stone. Look, gone there. Had the jump on her. She's working through traffic, is Woohoo Jackie Blue, but she dives inside and really closes up gamely. Only start over this racetrack, proven that she likes it. I think she's tough right here, but going to need a little help. This is a tricky race. This first half of a mile is going to, I think, set things up one way or the other. Ginger Girl, what do you do with her off of this little bit of a break?
Very dangerous, dropping in class, getting back to her best distance. She's a perfect 3 for 3 at Laurel Park going the 1-turn mile. We're going to have to deal with a little bit of a layoff, but we do have a positive trainer stat for trainer Joanne Schenkel with the 2 with Ginger Girl. I think we do.
Stat?
Yes.
Maybe?
Do we?
I don't know. There it is.
6 for 26 between December the 1st and March the 2nd. So this barn has been very steady for the last 3 months or so. with a $3.28 ROI. I trust Ginger Girl. I'm a big fan of this horse, and I think at this class level, she's very dangerous. As we said, it is a wide open race. Keith's going 6, 5, 2, and 3. I'm going with 4, 2, 5, and 3, hoping that Kinquito can win her 4th consecutive race for trainer Rudy Rodriguez. They only lost during the span with another trainer, Lisa Reed, up at Finger Lakes. 4 up, 5 down. We still have 2 stakes races to analyze on a beautiful Saturday morning at Laurel Park. We'll be back in a second.
Baltimore! To the city of Baltimore, to all the fans watching around the world, riders up!
They're off in the Preakness.
All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head and head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner.
And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silence takes the lead at the quarter pole.
American Barrow, phenomenal in the Preakness. And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! Here is Smarty Jones. He wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths.
She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
Welcome back to Today at the Races on a Saturday morning at Laurel Park. We're getting set for the late pick 5. It starts in race number 5. Let's take a look at this field. It's going 3/4 of a mile. This is a race for 3-year-old fillies. It's an open allowance with a claiming option of $75,000 down to $65,000. Now, unfortunately, we have 3 scratches: the 1 tipped line, the 4 new boots, the 5 Rapido Rosa. But it is the first leg of the value pick 5, and you're going to want to get involved because it's one of the most horse player friendly wagers in the business, if not the most horse player friendly wager in the business. We have a low 12% takeout for your 50-cent minimum wager.
Absolutely. We got a ticket for you, too, as well, for the late value pick 5. Callie Francois, she's got a ticket, $48. She's going to start us off with a single. And I can see the race going right through Great Andre for Jerry Robb. Going to project a little maybe improvement, Lasix, but coming off of that break, that hasn't been the best angle. But I like how this single starts you because I do think they're going to have to come and get Great Andre once they turn for home. Race 6, 3 deep, 2, 6, and 8. I think this is a very difficult race. The maiden claimers, these are the 3-year-old fillies going the 1-turn mile, scratch the 5. Ryland's looking lucky. I do think you've got a spread in there. Race 7, 3 deep as well, with the 6, 8, and 9 in the conniver. Scratch the 1, Intrepid Dream. Lots of ways to go. Spencer Tierra really been good with the blinkers going on. Race 8 with the 2, 5, and 6, SS Sinatra. I think will be sent from the inside. You're also going to use Hit the Road Jack. She likes speediness as well in there. And Callie's going to wrap things up here. 4 deep in race number 9. These are the maiden claimers. 1 mile and a 16th. Scratch the 6, Speedy Alex, and the 7, Knucker Punk. 1, 2, 3, and 5 for a $48 late value pick 5. Not the easiest of sequences, trying to kind of make it reasonable with that single to get you started.
Do these scratches worry you concerning your top selection,
Yes.
the 3 Shikara Fire? Because she's at her best when she makes 1 run from off the pace. And how fast is this pace going to be in a short field? She has shown the ability to stay close in the past, but does that take away from her kick?
Yeah, I think right now they've kind of got her in a situation where she wants to take back a little bit and make that run. It's interesting. Unfortunately, Rapida Rosa is out. That was the other Corrales runner I thought would go ahead and maybe keep Great Andre honest. Yeah, the scratches definitely, I think, hurt a little bit here for Shakira Fire. She's still good, though. Back on Lasix, turning back a furlong. I think she's going to be okay. Charging late. Will she get up in time? But let's take a look at the 6, Great Andre, because I think, as I talked about there with that ticket for Callie, the road is going to go through her once they turn for home.
Now, this is her most recent start back in November, and she is pushing a very hot favorite in days, and these fractions are legitimate. 22 and 3, 45 and 4. She puts days in the rearview mirror turning for home, and right here, it looks like Great Andre is on her way to a stakes win. Here's the problem. Here comes a really good horse, Caprice, who last year was probably the best 2-year-old filly in the Mid-Atlantic region. Caprice gets by Great Andre in the shadow of the wire, but take nothing away from Great Andre. She won the duel, but she lost the war to a good horse.
Really gutsy effort. Yeah, I love that try. Caprice in that race, I remember, she was kind of spinning her wheels a little bit at the 3/8 pole, and suddenly picked it up past the 3/16 and was able to run down Great Andre. But you're talking about those internals. And now you got a horse that's a little bit more mature. She's adding Lasix, kind of a little bit like the Farrier horse yesterday with some of those changes. I think Great Andre going to be awfully tough right now, and with Repeater Rosa out. I don't think Not Too Late's going to go. Malibu Hooch showed that speed at the Big T, and she's kind of like Shakira Fire. She's been one of those that's been kind of trained a little bit to sit just off of it and make a charge. She's going to go first off the claim, though, for Hugh McMahon.
I wonder if off the claim they're going to try to show a little bit of speed, taking advantage of breaking outside Great Andre and seeing how Great Andre goes. If Great Andre tries to basically walk the dog out there, Hamilton's got to go after her with Malibu Hooch. This is a rock-solid racehorse, though. Stayed inside, turning into the stretch. Had to kind of split horses through a tight hole in mid-stretch and then stayed on for second. She's nothing if not consistent. I think a good trip is coming. And if Great Andre needs a race, she is coming first off of the laugh, although I have seen some of her workouts. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from Great Andre in the morning. I think Malibu Hooch has a shot at maybe a slightly better price.
Okay, yeah, I do think she's going to be a little better priced than Great Andre, and I'm going to need her, I think, to go on the attack sooner rather than later if my top selection is going to get it done.
I want to talk quickly about Not Too Late, a horse that's dropping out of 5 consecutive stakes races, and it's not like she was embarrassed in any one of them. She made a big 3-wide move into the teeth of the pace in the wide country last time out and just got a little bit tired against a good field. Onyx 10 is in very good form. She's been against Onyx 10. She's been against Caprice. I think she's another one, though, that needs a little bit of a setup, but don't you see her just tucking in behind the speeds?
Yeah, she's shown versatility in her races. And I think now here's another one, getting first-time Lasix. How will that go? How will she respond to that? She could definitely move up. This is a trainer, smaller sample, has a positive ROI with that angle. Again, really, you break this race down, they are very, very close. I could see 4-horse field, length and a half, 2 with the wire, separating the entire field. I don't see anybody running, unless Great Andre just comes back and is able to walk it early through the first quarter, and she may have that chance to draw off. I see this as a really, really close race.
3-7-6-2 for Keith, 7-6-2-3 for me in race number 5, the first leg of the 50-cent value pick 5 with a low 12% takeout. Let's move on to race number 6. Maiden Claimer 30 down to 24. Maryland Breds have the option of running for 37.5. Take out the 5. Ryland's Looking Lucky. We are going a 1-turn mile. First leg of the late pick 4, 50-cent pick 4 wager. Again, we've got 3 of them today, early, middle, and late. Let's take a look at some of the horses here in race number 6. I want to talk about the Stranger.
Okay.
That is your top selection. First-time starter for the Great Grand Motion, the 8 Wisp.
Yeah, not usually. I don't take Grand Motion firsters too often. You know, hey, the stats are okay. 2 for 10 the past 5 years. I have Maiden claiming first-time starters on the dirt here at Laurel with an ROI of 278, but I just haven't been thoroughly impressed by the other runners. So can we run a mid-40 buyer off the bat? You're looking at Run Happy, the top side, 15% with the first-time with the dirt routers, I should say. Bottom side mare, 0 for 4, but okay, 67. Firsters have run okay out of this mare. A couple of them have hit the board. Plenty of works. I'm just thinking maybe they said, all right, this isn't a stakes. Maybe she's not, one of our tops in the barn. But we're going to lay her in here for 30. Do you want to go ahead, Terry? Go ahead. She's got enough ability to get it done. Plenty of build up here to get the mile first time out. I don't trust anybody else.
There's some speed in this family by Run Happy, champion sprinter. The Damsa have to a Dubai Golden Shaheen winner, although that race came on the synthetic. The Damsa have to another Grade 3 stakes winning sprinter on dirt. So there's speed in this pedigree, and I think the early money kind of is going to tell the tale with Wisp.
And I think I would really be happy if she's able to kind of break sharp and go ahead and clear, because you're right. When you look at the flow of this race, there's not a ton of it. Wacolia Ladies' horse has been throttled down in a couple races. misses, will they decide to let her go ahead and go?
The question is, if you let her go, does she just pull and be unrateable? I think that's been the major problem, is that she pulls so hard. You want to try to get her in behind horses. Two-back, she pulled hard on the outside, and the jock just finally had to let her go, or else his arms was going to go. Yomar Ortiz's arms were going to fall off. Last time, J-Rod put this horse in behind horses, eventually got to settle. I think there's something here with Wacolia Lady at this level, but I do think Missy's map has to show speed from post position, too. Last time out, just tracking a long shot, a 50-1 shot from the outside, and I think maybe she inherited the lead a little bit early on the turn, turning into the stretch of the long stretch of the one-turn mile. Got run down by Trace Aries, no disgrace there. That horse came back to win for a $20,000 tag with a 47 buyer speed figure. I just think this one's going to be right in the thick of things when they turn for home for Trombi.
This is when we were just waiting when she was going to turn on, because you look at the breeding, you look at the family. There's some good runners within this family, and I expected more. Maybe it's now the addition of Lasix second time. She improved greatly there at the one-turn mile. Maybe got lost a little bit on the lead, but encouraging Trace Aries the way she came back and run a 47 buyer. I think Divining Smile, it's a horse that we have in the mix. I think, she wasn't able to stay close to those internals last time out, but she ran sneaky good the last eighth of a mile. I think she can lay closer moving out to the mile. Second time Lasix is a user for me in a real wide open group. I'll let you touch upon Fur Elise out of the mare Tease. Yeah, tough old mare, but she's been productive. This one coming back, Lasix on, stat time, right?
Yep,
you had
stat time for
Chucky
Chuck Lawrence. Experienced horses, non-first-time starters, racing with first-time Lasix on dirt. This is a big angle for the barn, almost 30% winners, a $3.62 ROI, and maybe Lasix is just going to make all the distance for Fur Elise. Just take a look at the last few races. Turf, 3 starts back, throw it out. 2 starts back, runs into a horse that wins by 12, probably overmatched. Last time out, again, catches a sloppy track that she might not have liked. She just might be dirtied up, and if the Lasix wakes her up completely, I could see this horse really taking a big step forward for Chucky Lawrence and Michael Sanchez.
Absolutely. One of these is definitely could slip through the cracks, and I think you're going to get 6-8 to 1 on that one when it's all said and done, because there is some dirtied up form recently. Interesting. I like the late energy comment when well beaten. That's a little bit of a tell. Okay.
Yeah, not a bad performance, certainly in that race against a runaway.
Yes.
8-1-2-4 for Keith, 2-6-1-3 for me, and race 6, the kickoff leg of the 50-cent late pick 4. Time for some stakes action here at Laurel Park. Race number 7, we're going 7/8 for state bred or state sired. The $75,000 Conniver Stakes will take out the 1 Intrepid Dream, but as you see from the morning line, it's wide open. Spencerian, the 9, is the 3-1 morning line favorite. I want to start things off with Spencer Tiara, however. That's your top selection in this race, and you mentioned it earlier on. This horse has just really put it all together with blinkers.
Yeah, I wish I would have used this as a video spotlight. Maybe we can kind of work it back for the afternoon. Phil, maybe. But, we're going to go to the Spencerian video. That's fine. But Spencer Tiara off the last time out, having the steady to 3/8. Really, blinkers are gone. This horse is going to be sharp and promptly paced. Let's look at Spencerian, though, the 9 today for Hugh McMahon.
Yeah, Spencerian was sort of in the pocket here and was urged along on the turn. But what I like is once she got down towards the inside, she really kicks it into gear, and she is really firing in here. This was a good performance for Spencerian back on December the 21st. She then came back and she faced Miss Bucaro. She got wired by that sharp horse in a race where the runner-up would come back, hit the board in 3 consecutive stakes with buyers of 90, 89, and 80. She fits very, very well at this level and is well drawn.
3 wins at the 7 furlong distance. And you look at nobody with the speed of Miss Bucaro in this particular race. I do think Stick with the Colors is going to have to send out of there from the inside. But Spencer Tiara, Spencerian, they get the first runs. If things don't get crazy, I do think they can extend it and take it as almost maybe their own little duel from the top of the stretch home.
I was talking to Lizzie Merriman earlier this week about Spencer Tiara, and she said that Spencer Tiara can be easily intimidated. So last time out when she had to kind of steady a little bit and take back and then re-rally, that might have taken a little starch out of her. Add in the fact that she was in against a horse that might be really, really good, a horse that came off of a long layoff to make it 2 for 2. And I think it makes Spencer Tiara's effort even better than it looks on paper. There is an old class master in this race, and that is the 8. She's not that old. She's a 4-year-old filly, but she's danced every dance. It's Call Another Play, and we have a video spotlight for Call Another Play, pulling off an upset last time out in the Geisha. She got a beautiful trip and ride from Michael Sanchez in this race, just tracking the speed and working in-out.
Yeah, back here to 7/8 of a mile today. I think it's going to work. I think she has the ability. Been a little bit patient. Call Another Play off of this race. Been scratched, I want to say twice. I think it was going to be a little bit too quick. One of those races might have been an off track, which she doesn't look like she cares for at all. But this is kind of the old Call Another Play, right? She's only 4, but she put it together and closed up and kicked clear of some okay horses. Some horses that would work right along within this group. So yes, I think if she gets kind of that any kind of contested pace up front, she'll bring a charge here for Trombetta.
I'm reaching for a price with the 2 Angel Art. Mark Schumann told me earlier this week this filly really likes being down inside, as she was last time out. No real excuses that day. Maybe didn't break great, but was able to get to the inside, cut the corner. Looked like she had some momentum, and maybe she flattened out just a bit. Perhaps 7 is a little far for her, but breaking from the inside now with the scratch of the 1, I think she's just going to be saving ground every step. And Schumann said the plan is this: you've got to time it right. Don't move Sheldon Russell until they turn for home.
Yeah, and I think this is she's the time to try this company is right now. She's in the best form of her life. I did not see that race 2 races back. She was sharp to the front. She's showing versatility right now. Right, covered up trip I think around the turn, and don't move too soon. 3/16 pole. I think you better start rolling then.
He's going 6-9, 8, and 4. I'm going 2, 6, 9, and 8. In race number 7, the Conniver. We move on to race number 8, the first leg of the late daily double in the $75,000 Not for Love Stakes, going 3/4 of a mile for Maryland-bred or sired performers. We're intact with a field of 7, and speediness has been very, very good. Let's take a look at speediness's most recent race. Consider that this race, this race is on November the 30th, and speediness is fast, whether it's going long or whether it's going short.
Yeah, this is the race going back to November, right? This is the City of Laurel Stakes. And just look at the internals. This horse gets put right into it. What a match race turner for home. 22-2, 44-4, 9-4. Yeah, the track was had a little spring to it that particular afternoon, but the fight that this guy displays, and again, when you're looking at the speed in here, he can get put right into it again and stay. He doesn't mind a battle. Sitsink is up here late. There goes Winterfell right on by. But all in all, really good efforts by both of those horses right behind Celtic Contender and Speediness. Speediness, again here, 6 furlongs. Yeah, I think it's going to be go ahead and go. Measure some horses to the inside. I think Essa Sinatra's got to go, but is he really even fast enough to stay if Speediness wants to turn on the jets around the turn?
Usually when you think a horse is cutting back 3 furlongs, you think maybe their speed will be dulled. I just don't think it'll be the case with Speediness because of what you said. You saw the fractions last time this horse was sprinting. 22, 44 kind of speed. I think he's going to be up and on the lead. I think he's very dangerous in this spot. We also have a video spotlight for Circle P, and I think we should talk about Circle P because this is a horse that to me has sort of been knocking on the door. Now he's splitting horses here. He's going to have to go on hold for just a second.
Yeah, I like the fact we're back. We're back this a fast track. We're back a furlong. This horse is 2 for 3 at 6, 3 for 3 in the money, and gets this run. And here's another key horse, right? Celtic Contender, running against the right kind on this fast track. Rolls up the challenge, a touch early, and just couldn't quite, sustain that last 1/8 of a mile, but willing enough. 3/4, he's going to have to work out a trip. But you just saw there, he got positioned into a fairly decent flow by the 5/16 pole. I think he's going to need to do that again and unleash it.
He has a very nice short burst of speed, a good turn of foot to get him right into the mix. He was in against Celtic Contender, who might at that point in time been a better horse. Talk about being in against the right kind. Quince Brew his last 2, so this is some class relief for Circle P, and I think he's very, very dangerous at a nice price. Let's talk a little bit about Hit the Road Jack, the number 5. I was talking to Rudy Sanchez-Solomon earlier this week, and he was unsure whether he wanted to run Hit the Road Jack in this race because, like Speediness, he's been doing a lot of his running in longer distance races. Great sign that they're running this horse in here, and he has been knocking on the door.
And caught behind 49-3, behind some really good horses. Speediness, awfully cool on that speed favoring track on the able to close up almost 4 lengths for that last eighth of a mile. He is versatile enough. Interesting. We're going to get X-Man today taking the mount. I think he can lay closer if needed. I think he's just got natural speed. It's just when they want to use it. He's got to be within a couple lengths turning for home. I don't want to see this big charge from him. I don't know if that's going to be the right move. I think he's got enough flow, X-Man, to get him going. If he's in range upper stretch, watch out.
5, 4, 6, and 7 for Keith. I'll see if Speediness can do it again. He does have a tendency to wait on horses when he makes the lead. You might be screaming wire at the 8th pole. 6, 5, 3, 2 for me in the Not for Love. Let's wrap things up with race number 9. We're going a mile and a 16th. The purse here is $41,000. We're going to scratch the 6 and the 7. This is a maiden claimer for 3-year-olds, 45 down to 36. Maryland-sired horses may waive the claiming price. Let's start things off, Keith, with the number 2, Veneto. We have a video spotlight on Veneto coming out of a good performance last time out.
Yeah, and look at those internals. This horse was turning back in distance, got a good sealed surface, 22 and 4, 46. So making that move around the turn. Veneto runs really, really big this particular day. He's going to be able to close in. Chesapeake Dream, the winner, I was hoping would run a little bit better yesterday. Did not. But this horse is able to kind of sustain. Left lead there.
That's the problem.
Past the 8th pole. We're concerned about that. Has had a couple chances going longer. Maybe I just kind of fell for the 61 buyer that jumped up out of nowhere. Can he duplicate? Can he pair up? That's going to be a major, major question here. And you don't want to take a super, super short price on this guy to end things up for the day.
Jose Corrales on a roll recently, 3 for 13 between February 23rd, March 2nd. Big return on investment. Yeah, Veneto, that's been the issue. You could argue if he changes leads in that race, he wins. But maybe he doesn't need to if he runs back to that buyer speed figure. He has a bad habit of not changing leads in his races. Hacksaw Ridge is going to be the horse to beat, breaking from the inside post for Brittany and Sheldon Russell. We do have a trainer stat for Brittany. Second-time maidens making their second start in a route. Okay, they debut in a route race. They come back in a route race. 10 for the last 29. 34%, 268 return on investment. Hacksaw Ridge also getting Lasix for the first time, also listed as a first-time gelding. You don't worry with Brittany off of layoffs. It'll be very interesting to see what we got. He had to kind of alter course very wide in the upper stretch last time out, and he passed some tired horses.
Yeah, made a little bit of a run. I expected maybe a little bit more out of that one. Victory Rally bottom side. I want to say that might have been a Matt's runner. Was an okay mare. So, yeah, with the stat there, the gelding, the Lasix, there's a lot to kind of definitely like for Hacksaw Ridge, a shorter field. We're not going to get any kind of value whatsoever with the 1 and the 2. So I can see your rationale here. Dad joke, if you got to dig a little bit. Sneaky good last time out. Yes, beaten 15 and some change. I think that race looks a little bit better.
But beaten 15 and change by just some runaway favored winner who's pretty good. Came back to run third in a first-level allowance with a 64 buyer speed figure. I mean, you look at Dad Joke's race, much improved with Lasix. 4 wide on the backstretch. Carrasco took him inside to try to save some ground and kind of got held up a little bit. But once she got to the outside, she ran on despite being beaten 16 lengths. I still think there's some improvement for Practical Joke. I think he's got enough of the body type to get the mile in a 16th, although the pedigree says sprint. We'll see what we get. I think the price will be right on Dad Joke. 2-1-5-3 for Keith, 3-2-1-4 for me in the finale at Laurel Park. Best play time, Keith. Yeah, only knocked out the late pick 5 with a cold play last yesterday. You're going with Social Lady today.
We even got the Wolfman home.
You did.
A little anxious moment there right out of the gate. Up in the air, Jock did a great job staying on, and those two got in tandem and made that move around the quarter pole to get it done. So, yeah, I go to race 4, Social Lady. Back in the barn of Jamie Ness, was able to kind of run down that loose leader, pace setter at Parks. I'm going to need things to kind of get contested, leaving, I'd say, probably mid-turn into the lane. You've got a couple horses that were tough for me to split up on the front end because I don't think they want to let the other get away. You've got Popover Gal, you've got Ginger Girl. I think they're going to be right there. Even your top selection, the Rudy Rod, moving in. So, Social Lady back in the Nest barn to kind of grind it out.
My best play is in the opener. That's the number 2, Midnight Renegade, 5-2 on the morning line, 5-2 right now. I won't take a dime less than 5-2. Kieran had 2 winners yesterday, hoping to keep the ball rolling. I think this horse is going to appreciate getting some pace at the 1-turn mile. I think last time out was just a little bit close to it. They'll maybe try to take back and make 1 run. That's worked for this horse in the past. 9 races for today's card, 2 stakes races, 2 pick 5s with a low takeout of 12%. We're going to go up to Dave Rodman for scratches and changes.
Good luck.